Ariel Smith, because we are here to dissect and look through the budget for AFCON 2019. So we were all here when our dreams were crushed during the AFCON tournament. What was supposed to be the end of a 37-year wait for a trophy did not even last till the quarter-final. I mean, we weren't even as good as we've been in the past 6 AFCONs. So, I mean, put aside the pain of watching our abysmal performance where we won only one match the entire tournament. And now let's talk about one thing that Ghanaians know how to talk about, unfortunately: the money.
Yeah.
What was spent? Where did it go? How did we fare? Isaac Isiama went to Parliament to present just that. Let's hear him, and then Gary is here for us to go through the details.
A budget of $6,365,033.84 was approved for the tournament, comprising training tour, main tournament, and related activities. Now, the actual expenditure, Mr. Speaker, emphasis actual expenditure, Mr. Speaker, an amount of $4,564,352 was expended from the training tour to the time Ghana exited from the main tournament.
Isaac Isiama there giving us the summary of what we already know now to be a $4.5 million expenditure of a $6.2 million budget. So should we be congratulating the Black Stars and the management team for underspending on their budget, or are there more questions than answers? Gary L. Smith is here to tell us. Gary, good morning once again.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Glad to be back.
Oh, it's great. I mean, you don't need to thank us for having you with your job. Okay, so Gary, in the first place, let's go through the budget line by line. What did we spend, and how much did we spend, and on what?
Well, the budget, first of all, very important to note, covered the campaign in Dubai and also the tournament in Egypt. The campaign in Dubai started on the 3rd of June. You know, that's when they went to Dubai to have a 3-week session to acclimatize, as they said, for the tournament. $6.3 million, as we were told by the minister in the sound clip you just played, was budgeted, and just over $4.5 million was spent, meaning that $1.7 million was not spent. Yesterday on the Joy News channel, when we have an infographic that is circulating, and on it we've written 1.7 million as amount saved, because that is what the minister said. Okay. I got a call from a viewer who said he's uncomfortable with the fact that we say $1.7 million saved. It's not like, we are going to spend it. We just didn't need to spend it. And so it is not saved. We should just say money not spent. All this is semantics, but it's important.
That's just what I was going to say. Yeah. But it's still important.
Mm-hmm. So the breakdown.
Yes, the breakdown
features things from accommodation. There are 14 line items.
14 line items. Great. So let's pick all 14. Simple.
First, accommodation. So let me start with the percentage breakdown and then the corresponding figure. Is that fine?
Let's do percentage and corresponding figure.
Right. So
together.
Accommodation took the biggest chunk. If you look at the pie chart we put out there, you can find this on my Joy Online and also Joy FM's Facebook page and Twitter page. So you can follow it with us right now. Accommodation has the biggest chunk of the pie. It's almost a quarter of it. Indeed, it is a quarter. It is 25% of it. There's the winning bonus for the players, which is 21.2% of it. Now, just to go back a bit, accommodation is 1,143,519, which corresponds to 25%. Okay. Now, there's a winning bonus for players, which is $965,405, which is 21.2%. That's the biggest thing. So everything else I'll be mentioning will be in descending order. We are starting from the biggest to the smallest. The airfare was $924,168, which represents 20% of the amount. Next up, we come to feeding, which was 9% of the budget, which was corresponded to $419,300. Now, in addition to the winning bonus for the players, which we have spoken about, Daniel, there's the winning bonus for technical team, which is $304,027. So that is 7.6% of the amount. Now, the interesting bit comes here, where there is per diem for players.
Per diem for players.
For players, which is $187,050, which is 4.1% of the budget. There's also winning bonus for additional technical staff. You know, we've already spoken about winning bonus for the players.
Okay.
Right? Winning bonus for the technical staff, and now we have winning bonus for the additional technical staff, which is $177,000, which is 3.9%. Now we have per diem for technical staff, which is $129,600, and that is 2.8%. Then we go on to per diem for additional technical staff, $90,750. Medicals, $44,574. Internal transportation, $43,092. Incidentals, $42,576. Match tickets, $41,750. And visa fees, $8,541. Those are the line items.
Okay, in the first place, what are incidentals?
Incidentals, that is the session B question. I had a friend back in school who liked to say fundamentals is just full animatals. You know, I don't know what that meant. But before we go on, I'd like to point out something before we proceed.
Okay.
This budget that the sports minister gave us and the expenditure is extremely, and as we know in Ghana, I mean, history just repeats itself. I mean, in this world, history repeats itself. Anybody who remembers the Jam Affair Commission, or indeed the precursor to the Jam Affair Commission, remembers that the sequence was as follows. Brazil happened, the mess happened. Elvis Efriankra, the sports minister, came down to town. His first port of call was Metro TV, where he went to Paul Adomotri's program, you know, in a bit to explain what happened. It backfired spectacularly. And then the public just went on and tore everything apart. The subsequent furore was so loud and so much that the government decided that they needed to put out, you know, an independent inquiry too, for various reasons, which lasted, whatever it did. Now, the noises we are hearing right now, because of various issues, because there are so many issues trending, it hasn't reached that kind of crescendo. But the questions you're asking, what are incidentals? You remember, it's the similar question Lawyer Kwesi Nyantichi was asked at the Jam Affair Commission, and that brought about the famous coefficient honorarium. Yes, that is what brought up. So you remember that yesterday the minority spokesperson for sport, youth, ranking member for youth, sport and culture, said that, and we will get there right now, the first 7 items on these lines, you know, the first 7 items, gives you a breakdown sort of. But from 8 to 14, everything is nebulous. You know, they are plumped up into big things. So like, what are incidentals? Match tickets for who? Visa fees for who? Internal transportation for who? You know, those sorts of questions. And those are, the number of times I've followed AFCON budget, that is where the meat of the matter is. The devil is in those details.
Oh.
Yes, that is where it is. Because you say visa fees for who? Because as a journalist, I didn't pay for visa fees for the multimedia group. We went for visa. I mean, we didn't even wait for accreditation. 4 months before, because we wanted to plan ahead, we applied to the Egyptian embassy. And because we were going for the AFCON, we didn't pay for visa tickets, for visa fees. Now, journalists were not paid, were not asked to pay.
We're not asked to pay. So what about the soccer officials? And
so I'm making a point here. Isaac Isiama, again, for the benefit of listeners who have not followed and are doing that for the first time, said as a preface to everything he gave that, remember, this budget and expenditure covered who? The playing body, technical staff, some officials of the GFA, some officials of the sports ministry, officials of the Ghana League Clubs Association, journalists, and so on. So which category of people were exempted from visa fees and which category of people were asked to pay visa fees? Now, to be fair to him as well, remember again that this budget and expense thing covers the Dubai and Egypt trips. For Dubai, obviously, it was not visa free. So anybody who went to Dubai, that is the players and the technical team, would have paid for visa fees. But it definitely would not have been 8,000. That's what I'm saying.
Now,
I will, as I go on, I'll make some guesstimations because of my previous experience, what I saw in Egypt and so on.
Okay.
Now, visa fees. Remember that the people I have enumerated, Ghana League Clubs Association and so on and so forth, all of them, not all of them would have been exempted. People from the GFA and the Sports Ministry may not have been exempted by the Egyptian Embassy as well.
Okay.
But that question is something we can answer if we contact the Egyptian Embassy, or if the minister can make it very simple for us, just provide us with those details.
With those details.
Match tickets. We know that the 23 Black Stars players and then the match, the technical team do not need match tickets because they have accreditation. Everything is going to be sorted out for them. What we do know is that fans were flown in at least twice. At least twice to Egypt to be there. Now, the fans, the journalists did not even leave. Not all of them even left when Ghana went out. In fact, today, what is today's date?
Today is the 25th of July.
As we speak on the 25th of July, there are Ghanaians in Egypt as we speak, still on the ticket of the government and the sports ministry.
Really?
Some will be coming to Ghana on the 10th of August.
Really?
George and I came to Ghana 2 days ago.
Yes.
We were on the flight, so they are coming in batches. Now, the explanation we are getting from, I'm told, the travel and tour operator is that it would have been more expensive to change the tickets, and pay for it to the state. To have been more expensive. So instead, they are staying there. Now, what we gathered, and I don't want to mention figures because obviously we don't have the people on tape, but a couple of the people I spoke to there mentioned that they are getting some subsistence, they have some stipend, because they have to eat.
From who?
No, the state, Daniel, the state has taken them to go and support the Black Stars, whatever it is. Their dates for return are not due. So somebody has to take care of them. Now, they mentioned some figures to me, but because we have not verified them, but what I do know for a fact is that there are Ghanaians there. In fact, some journalists who were taken on the ticket of the sports ministry only return with us on our flights, and not all of them are here.
No, but Gary, we have to separate some issues there because Mr. Ajay Kesiama has presented a budget that has been expended. 1.7 million that has not been used.
Yeah.
And if there's any money that is still being spent on people who are there, it means it's not coming out of this 4.5 million.
That may be inaccurate. And again, to be fair to him, they probably have budgeted, they have paid for all those things already. I mean, for the people in Egypt. And this, again, is just me making an assumption, Daniel. For
because
the people who are going
a
to
line item, you see, I'm seeing a match tickets line item.
Yes.
That's a question.
But you are also seeing feeding. You are seeing accommodation. Do you see that?
Yes.
Good.
I'm seeing accommodation and feeding. So
but that is the question.
Who's accommodation and who's feeding?
Daniel, that is the session B. You get what I'm saying now? Which is why, again, I don't want to preempt but the sports minister can do himself and all of us a favor, really, and just come and see that, accommodation, this $1 million accommodation thing we have written there, it comprises of, or it does not include, obviously, the Black Stars players, because everything would have been taken care of by the Confederation of African Football for the duration of their stay.
Yeah.
But when they were in Dubai, where they stayed at the Jebel Ali Resort, we paid for so and so and so. When the fans were coming in, we paid for so and so and so. When the officials so he can do a better job for us, so that, and especially, if you listen to the commentary on some of the other stations this morning, they are not going to be as careful as we are being here.
Yeah, but okay.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, fine. What's happening elsewhere is happening elsewhere. But Gary, so how many people did we take?
That we don't know. As I sit here, we don't know, because the better thing, or the best thing he could have done, was to have said match tickets for 200 people at 41. We'll just do simple calculation and just guesstimate.
Because at the moment we don't even know what rates that we got these tickets for.
You understand? And
discounts.
Again, for every point in this discussion, for those who have longer memories, as I hope our listeners would, remember that everything here that happened yesterday and before then happened during the Brazil 2014 thing. You remember?
Yes.
Eventually, the sensible question was asked at the Commission of Inquiry that, okay, so what was the exchange rate? It was there that we got to know that the exchange rate that was written on paper was even different from the exchange rate that was actually used. In fact, the Bank of Ghana rate that was given had actually been that the money that was the forex that was changed had actually been changed somewhere behind the Bank of Ghana around Tudu on the black market. You understand those things? And so to avoid all these things, it just helps, if the authorities who put these forward will come and tell us some of the stuff. Daniel, I'm also talking about winning bonuses. What winning bonuses? Ghana won only one game. So please mention the amount that was expended on winning bonuses for the players.
Winning bonuses for the players. I have that in front of me. Okay, winning bonuses, technical winning bonuses, additional technical staff.
It's on the right side.
Yes, $965,405.
Now,
that's almost $1 million.
Yes.
Wait, but we won one match.
That's the point. So you see, there have been some talks about the fact that qualification bonuses were paid. We do not know that. That means we qualify for the group and they were paid. But even when you compute, assuming this amount, you compute for a win for bonuses per game, you are left with about $41,000 paid.
Okay, so Gary, what we need to do this morning, we need to catalog our questions.
Yes,
we need to catalog our questions very clearly.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yes. So what we are going to start with is, what was the size of the team?
Yes. Of the contingent.
Or the contingent.
Yes, I learned this in 2014. The contingent.
Yes, contingent. What was the size of the entire contingent is the first question. How many of them had their expenses covered by CAF? And I know that we have the 40-man general principle we know.
That's 23 players and 17 officials.
But they should let us know on paper.
Who? The names of the person.
Exactly.
Yeah, Kofi Mensah, this person.
Who was covered by CAF? Where did they stay? When we are talking about, so those are my questions about accommodation. Where did they stay?
Yep. In
Dubai? Where did they stay in Europe? In Egypt? For how long? At what rate? And how does that come up to 1.143519, as in 1,143,519? Winning bonus for winning bonus for players. My question is, how do we win a $965,000 for one match?
For one match.
And then it cascades down to winning bonus for technical staff, winning bonus for additional in the first place, who are the additional technical staff? Why are they not all technical staff?
Yeah, so those are the things. I mean, I do have an idea, but it will be better if the team told us what those mean.
Yeah. So those are just our questions that we have. Per diem, we know what per diem is. Yeah. Per diem is allowance.
But you remember in 2014 there was $100,000 given to the ball boy. You remember that story?
No, but Gary,
so these are some of the things that may come out. Yeah.
Per diem, allowance per day. There's feeding, there's airfare, there's accommodation. So per diem for what?
Exactly. Because you are feeding the players. You are transporting them. You are taking them
because
around.
There's internal transportation.
Yes.
There's feeding.
Yes.
There's accommodation. There's winning bonus. So per diem
for the players for what? And
there's per diem players. No, there's per diem technical. There's
per diem players.
Per diem technical staff. Per diem additional technical staff.
Yes.
Meanwhile, all of these people have gotten winning bonus. All of these people are being accommodated.
Yeah.
And all of these people are being fed.
Yeah.
Of course, we can't put them in a city and tell them don't carry any money on you at all. But I think at least it's fair that we know the exact justification and the exact breakdown. Because let me look at what per diem for players was: $187,000. Technical staff $129,000. Additional technical staff $90,000. So in total, we are looking at about $300,000 to $400,000 on per diem.
Yes.
Okay.
So back to your questions, which we are enumerating, which will be the takeaways from this discussion. How many people were taken?
Good.
At what rates were all these dollar denominations made?
Thank you.
Okay. Accommodation for who, for how long, and when?
And where?
Where? Feeding for who, and so on and so forth. Match tickets for who? For how many people?
Thank you.
Which flights took them? Was it a charter? Was it, any of the other commercial airlines?
And then internal transportation as well.
Yes, medicals. We do know that the players mandatorily have to go for medicals before the tournament. So we know that. And we also had a couple of injured players and so on. Visa fees for who? Is it just for the Dubai or for the Egypt? If so, were the other people apart from the technical team asked to pay their own visa fees so that the state will? Is that it? Internal transportation for who? For how long? What they did include all the other people, because remember there are some personal anecdotes, which is why we are being careful here. There are some personal anecdotes from some of us journalists who were in Egypt who saw things which do not tally with some of these, but because of the history of the way some of these discussions have gone, mostly you want to wait for an official this and that.
So Gary, in section B, so we have asked the section B questions.
Yes, we have.
We have asked
6 questions right now.
Yeah, we have asked 6 questions. Have we asked what are incidentals? Because that's a very serious
That's
thing.
7.
That's the 7th question.
That's
okay.
AKA miscellaneous.
AKA miscellaneous.
Right.
But this is the section B questions are optional. But this is the compulsory question. With all these incentives, how come we did not win this tournament?
Well, I think it's a question that's been asked across the continent, because Nigeria this morning, I was just on Twitter this morning, and I just managed to, on my way here, tune into Wazobia FM, which is the biggest pidgin language station on that side. They were even third, and they are even ranting and raving that they don't understand how the federal government don't spend $8.5 million for AFCON where Nigeria don't win.
But Gary, there's another question.
Yes.
You see, in all of this, we haven't asked value for money questions.
Yes.
So we haven't asked what informed the choice of accommodation, for instance.
This hotel over this person.
This hotel over this hotel. This food over this food vendor over this food vendor. I think that all of those things will be fair to factor in. And also, how is it that we budget $6.3 million for training and a tournament? We train for 3 weeks. We qualify. We exit a tournament at a round of 16, and we expend 80% of the budget.
That's the question. So, in nominal terms, and if you just do a simple extrapolation, if Ghana had advanced past the round of 16 into the quarterfinal, advanced past that, and had paid winning bonuses for the round of 16, had paid winning bonuses for the quarterfinal, had paid winning bonuses for the semi-final, and had paid winning bonuses for the final, and a winning bonus for winning the whole shebang, Daniel, that $1.7 million that we are told was being saved, on the basis of what we saw, Daniel, on the basis of what we saw being spent from the group stage until the time we exited, the $1.7 million would not have been enough. And from experience, and this is from experience of covering AFCONs where we have finished at least semi-finalists or gotten to the final, Daniel, or experience, money would have been flown in from Ghana to augment what was there.
Okay, that has not happened.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That is what previous sports ministers.
That's what you suspect.
No, Daniel.
No,
from 2008, 2010, 2012, 2013, 2017, all AFCONs where we have gotten to semi-final or more, there has been one story or other where a sports minister or the chief accountant has either brought the money himself, come back to Ghana, brought the money. In 2015, which one was the sports minister, the lawyer? He of course I'm not going to mention him. There was a suitcase that he came to Ghana, brought the suitcase because the money was not enough to stop whatever was going to happen in camp from happening. Okay. So these are the sorts of things that go on. So the $1.7 million that was saved, it was not going to have been enough. That we know.
Okay, so a comment here, a couple of comments here that we are getting going into the show. First of all, this question of $965,000 for one match won is really coming up from the comments that I'm reading.
And again, you see, I want to be fair to
winning
the sports
for one match
to the sports minister, but he doesn't make the job, or they don't. Let me not personalize it. The ministry don't make the job easier, Daniel, because you see, you could just come and tell us that we agreed with the players that even for a draw, because we have seen it in this Ghana before, there's a winning bonus for an actual win. When there's a draw, they give them something. If there's a loss, they obviously give them nothing. And then there are some regimes where there are qualification bonuses. So you get something for the draws, and there's something to qualify. That's the point. So it is possible that those figures
may drawing bonus.
Yes, or whatever it was.
$1 million.
I don't know. Of course, it's preposterous, but I'm saying.
I'm not saying anything. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm opening the phone lines at this point. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. What are your questions? Or does the budget satisfy you? Call us and tell us. 0302 216 541 0244 340 437.
To have a rounded discussion, I've heard my friend, I don't know if he's listening, Nane Alkesi. He's one of those who is adamant that initiatives, to put it in a very diplomatic way, like qualifying for the African Cup of Nations and the World Cup, and their financials that go into putting together a budget, right, can never be less than the winning prize, the prize winning money, which is $4.5 million in this case. People like him believe, Daniel, that the publicity and the global eyes that we are able to get from tournaments like this cannot be quantified in monetary terms. And so if the prize winning money is $4.5 million and a country like Nigeria, which finished third, budgeted $8.5 million, it is chicken feed for it. But that is a general public argument. And as people call, I like to hear their opinions, because I don't think that is the case. I think that value for money, and again, because we have a benchmark and a recent one in the Jamaica Commission and Brazil 2014, I know that we can do cheaper, because you know what, Daniel, guess what?
Okay.
You know where Nigeria camped? They came third. You know where they camped?
Tell me.
Oh, there's a place in Nigeria called Asaba. You've heard of Asaba. That is where Nigeria, our big brother who have more money than we can even dream of, that is where they camped.
Debbie forecast twice on the line. Good morning, Debbie.
Good morning.
Yes, Debbie, what are your questions?
I'm just surprised listening to you guys. I don't even know what they using our money for. I don't know. I'm just surprised. How can they waste our money like that? Extra medical, whatever. I don't get it. So are they saying if they have won the cup, we would have spent more on them, right?
Well, definitely. If we had stayed longer in Egypt, we would have spent more on accommodation and feeding and per diem and what have you. So I mean that goes without saying.
Oh, it's too much. Other African countries will be laughing at us,
Anyway, other African countries also spend quite a bit. But thank you very much, Debbie, for calling. Ajimai is calling from Kumasi. Good morning, Ajimai.
Good morning, Daniel.
Great. Ajimai, I think there's a TV or a radio by you. Can you turn it off for me? And
okay,
let's talk on phone rather.
Is it okay now?
Yes, I believe it is. What are your questions, Ajimai?
My question is that how many contingents, you understand, made it to the tournament? Because I understand technically that 40 people were being catered for by CAF. So
yes.
The remaining contingents, who were not part of the people taken care of by CAF, should be captured in the budget. You should just give us item by item how the money was being spent, each person regarding accommodation, food, everything.
Yeah, sure.
Because you can't just present this to us and thinking that we believe or we accept it. We are not naive. You understand? There are so many things we are looking for money to do as a country, so we can't just throw money in the gutter. We should come back again and be fair to Ghanaians. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajimai, for calling us from Kumasi. Ronald is calling from Ajirigano. And my good friend Dr. Osafo is listening. He says that, Daniel, the value for money question should rather be 4.5 million for football versus primary school ICT labs across the country. Interesting question you've raised there. Ronald from Ajirigano. Unfortunately, we lost you. Please call us back. It's 28 minutes to the top of the hour. Stephen is calling from Kaneshi. Good morning, Stephen.
Yeah, I'm sad this morning. More not to the ministry, but to Joy FM. I'm listening to Gary Smith, and it seems to me that he is giving clues to the minister as to what to itemize. If you listen very carefully, subtly, it's as if he's telling the ministry what they must do to represent this into the Ghanaians. That for me is very sad. You should have just kept quiet and let's see what they present. But you come out with something and say, well, I think this and I think that, well, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to preempt, let them come and present. For me, that is leading clues. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I like to, what was his name again?
Stephen from Kaneshi.
Stephen, some of these things is because of experience.
Yes, and how it's But I get where Stephen is coming from. You feel that if you say per diem, you have an idea what the additional technical staff do, then you may be giving away out. But let's also be fair to the sports minister and the sports ministry that there is an itemized explanation for all of this. Let's not.
So it is there.
Yes.
Whether it will come out is another matter.
Let's not approach this with a mindset that this person has done this or this person has done that. Let's have
got
that.
To be careful.
Yes. Kissy from New Ningo is on the line. Good morning, Kissy. It's been a while since we had you
Kissy.
on the. Kissy. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, Daniel, I'm here.
Great. It's been a while since we had you on the
Kissy,
show.
what's up?
Hey, Gary, cool.
Nice
I've been here. It's only that I've not been getting through. I'll try, especially in the morning.
Sorry about that. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Dan, thank you so much. And then, Daniel, you see, in the first place, we should not even accept what we were told, okay? We should have gotten the budget before we went to the Egypt. Please, we should not accept this thing anymore. And then the minister will come and tell us, if they tell us this thing, why should we even believe that since when $5 million was what was budgeted for? Why should we believe that it wasn't more than that? Please. This thing should not be done to Ghanaians. We are begging them. And then if it were under this rule, some of you, especially your colleagues from the speaking stations, they would have gotten called for the head of Kwesi. So please, in the first place, we should not accept this thing anymore. Henceforth, they should bring the budget. Tell us this is what. Even the budget has to come from the GFE, the normalization committee, and not from the ministry, so that they will approve or not approve it. Please. Thank you very much, Dan. You guys are doing great. Kudos.
Thank you very much, Kissy from New Ningo. He raises a very important point, because you see, the national budget for the year 2019 was ready in November 2018.
You see, and should I give you
let me let Kojo from
and then let me drop the penny.
Kojo.
All right. Daniel, good morning.
Good morning. Please turn off your radio, okay? You are getting some feedback.
All right. Sorry for that.
All right. Let's hear you now.
Daniel, it's sometimes disappointing, Look, I didn't follow what the minister presented yesterday, but how much is the winner of the tournament taken away?
$4.5 million.
How much?
$4.5 million, sir.
And our budget for that tournament, which we were hoping to win, was how much?
$6.3 million.
So right from the word go, we plan to overrun our costs, running into losses. And look, this is what is affecting our institutions in Ghana. We do not even know how to plan to break even. And this is where we didn't even qualify to quarterfinals or anywhere. Guys, what is happening is not good. And the leadership of this country must sit up. How can you do this? You are going for a tournament that you know that you are going to get 4.5 and you plus spend 6 point what?
To be fair, Kojo, some could argue that we get value from our brand going out there, the remittances that will come back if the players go and play in other teams, the value that we gain from marketing these guys.
And national exposure. That's what some people
national
say.
Exposure. All of that cannot exactly be quantified. So that point must be made at least, Kojo.
These are the little ways that they get and run away with spending our money.
You see, it's things like this that Kojo thinks.
I mean, these are just expectations. Who knows that they are going to materialize? Guys, we need to be serious. We really have to be serious. And like Gary was saying, there was no itemized of the bills. I spent this on that. What went into it? Who and who benefited? Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Kojo. Thanks for calling. You're still live on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM.
Make sure you check out Facebook.
Daniel, if you guys don't stop talking about it, they might use the remaining 1 million to set up a commission of inquiries. Okay, I want to bring you this one quickly, Gary, because you mentioned that my good friend went with the team supporters to Egypt and returned only yesterday after Ghana exited some 2 weeks earlier. Surely he was being taken care of by taxpayers, buddy, way after the Ghanaian team had left the tournament.
And that's true. That's a challenge. Like I said, some people are now coming back to Ghana all the way to the 10th of August.
Kwesi from Commonwealth Hall speaking there. So, good morning, Daniel. So, how many additional technical support men went? That's the same question we're asking. What went into the medical whatever? I have so many questions, so send them in. We'll read them in the show. Daniel and Gary, my question is, can't we be like England? The country colors opens doors for them, not extort money from the state. I think as a country, we are slowly going nowhere. When players are not being patriotic, ghost names, aka technical lies, are being alighted here. Okay, your message, I don't understand the whole thing so well. Papa Ansa from Tishiningwa Estate sends a message. He says, good morning, Daniel. Oga they chop money, and he goes on and on. Ben from Oyibi also sent in a message. Let me get to your message very, very quickly. Dan, if the overall winning price is 4.5, why should we budget anything close to or beyond that? Daniel, is the system. We either change it or be like that forever. Where do we begin changing the system is my question to you. Most Ghanaians were praying that the national team doesn't qualify because of all these monetary issues. Ikia Amwa Stadium in Kumasi. She breaks down the 4.5 million and her opinion about this. Gary, listen to this.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Airfare, that one is okay since they went by first class. Per diem players, that one too is cool. Per diem technical staff, it's cool since the sports ministry deals in dollars. Per diem additional technical team. Where from this one too? Winning bonus players. How many wins did the Black Stars get at all? That is my question.
Yeah.
Winning bonus 965,000 for one match won. Winning bonus technical. They should retain the money since they couldn't train the guys to win. Medicals. How many players were hurt? Interesting. Ghana Sports Ministry dealing in dollars, making payments in dollars, and all salaried workers should also be paid in dollars. Eke Free Bremai in Kumasi. With this expenditure, Ghana Black Stars, no wonder your performance.
So, Daniel, let me just finish by saying, we budgeted $6.3 million.
Yes.
Now, $6.3 million times the going dollar rate, it's some 34 million Ghana cedis, right? Now, Daniel, you know how much was budgeted for the entire sports ministry in this year? For the entire sports ministry, 43 million Ghana cedis. I want to repeat. The entire sports ministry of the Republic of Ghana at the last budget had 43 million Ghana cedis allocated to it. Sometime within the last 2 months, we as a country budgeted 34 million Ghana cedis of that 43 for 1 3-week tournament for the Black Stars. I'll leave you to think about that. So what happens to everything else in the other sports?
And this is not just sports ministry, Gary.
Yeah, this is sports.
This is the
youth and sports.
So youth employment agency.
Yes. All those other things.
And all the other youth
infrastructure, the stadium,
programs.
whatever it is.
All right, then it's 19 minutes at the top of the hour.
The top MCs in the game, Ghanaians make a good four, but I don't mean it's the only thing we're